So let's do a vinyl haul in the middle of the desert. So let's take a look at some of the records I bought while on vacation here in Arizona and New Mexico. First one I picked up is Kiss, of course, you know, one of my favorite bands. This is Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. This is the last album Kiss did with Bruce Kulick. There he is right there. This took about a couple years to come out. They held on to it because in '95 they did the reunion and the unplugged thing, and they put the makeup back on. So they kind of held off for a little while to put this out. It's pretty 90s sounding. I think Kiss is trying to channel the 90s and a little bit of the grunge thing, but I kind of enjoy it. Also, I really need to beef up my 90s and on Kiss collection. I don't have a lot of that on vinyl, so I picked this one up. Pretty happy. The only thing I don't like about it, however, is that it's pretty minimalist packaging, so you could see. That's all you get, so not excited about that. Next album I got was Surgical Steel from Carcass. This is pretty much their comeback album. Came out in 2013 after an 18-year hiatus. Pretty great album. It's got a nice little gatefold, and the vinyl is, let's get a quick look here. It's got a nice white with gray splatter-ish kind of thing going on for it. Pretty excited to get this. I've heard the songs on it before, and just want it on vinyl. You know how that feels. Also, there is a poster in here, which hopefully I can get out and the desert wind doesn't blow it away. It looks something like that. There you go. Next up is Raven with Wiped Out. This is their second album following Rockin' Till You Drop. Great stuff. I love the back, the usual collage of metal bands. But what's particularly interesting about this copy is that it has the original insert, as well as the insert is here, right there. Nice wind, huh? And then there's also a poster here as well, which I'm going to try to show you before the wind takes it away. There you go. Whee! So, really excited to get that. A lot of the extras with the early Neat records aren't always available in used copies. Rockin' Till You Drop also had some cool stuff. I think it was the first 500 copies of that record, had some interesting inserts, but unfortunately I did not get that copy, as I might have mentioned in a previous video. Next up is Samson, featuring Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. Of course, you know that if you're a big Nawabum fan. Head Tactics is the name of the album. It's basically a compilation album of the two previous albums, Head On and Shock Tactics, hence Head Tactics. I love the label too. Lyrics may be considered offensive by some viewers or some audiences. You're the viewer, they're the audiences. And pretty good stuff. Vice Versa's on here, Earth Mother's on here, a lot of great songs, Hard Times, and fantastic little record. I'm gonna get the other two records, but this will hold me off till then. Next up is Iron Maiden, second album for them. This is Killers. Speaking of Nawabum, I didn't have this on vinyl for the longest time, and I found a really mint copy of it. Pretty excited, didn't pay too much. I did get this one in Arizona, I remember. Who doesn't love this album? It's a classic. It's the last studio album Paul Di'Anno did with the band, and yeah, also on original Harvest Records. It's not the reissue, so I was pretty excited to find that. Next up is Anvil with the classic Metal on Metal. We all know this album. We know the title track the most. Had to pick it up on vinyl. This is their second album, by the way. This is after Hard and Heavy. Hard and Heavy was meh, but this is really where they started to get metal, and good stuff. And they're the guys, so long ago. Next up, a little bit of a gem. This is Metallica with Garage Days Revisited. I paid quite a bit for this. The guy wouldn't come down no matter what I did, but this was the whole of my collection because I have Master Puppets, I have Injustice, I needed this one. It's an amazing shape. It literally, especially the vinyl, killer, clean all the way through. Really excited to get it. Next up, a gem to find out of nowhere. This is Kreator with Pleasure to Kill, probably the greatest Kreator album ever made. And I found this in a sort of antique store in a hole-in-the-wall place in a very small town in New Mexico. And he only charged me 20 bucks for it, which is really nice. And that was after looking at Discogs, mind you. And he knew it was probably 60 and up. 60 for a really crappy copy and way more beyond that. But the vinyl is utterly immaculate. The cover's got some ring wear, don't really care. It's the music that counts. And this is the US release. You can see important distribution and combat. So still really happy to get it. My favorite Kreator album, Pleasure to Kill. Next up, my favorite Manowar album. Next into Glory Ride, they kind of compete for favorite, as you might already know. This is Hail to England. Really excited to find this. Probably paid almost 50 for it, but it's utterly near mint. Probably even mint. Astounding. Glad to have it. It is, of course, Roadrunner. It's the import. I think there is only an import. Don't count me on that. There might have been a US copy much later on. But again, near mint condition, can't go wrong. Very excited to have this. Next up, Yngwie J. Malmsteen, the great Yngwie J. Malmsteen, that is, with Marching Out. This is his second album. Also a very clean copy. And of course it has the typo for Disciples of Hell. Note the missing S. And I guess that's on all copies, to be honest. This is the US release. I can see Polygram Records. Also, there's an alternate one where it has these 3D-ish letters coming out at you. And then there's a European version with an entirely different cover. It's a close-up of him, and you can see playing on the fretboard and stuff. So, but this is the US version. This is the one I had as a kid, so happy to get this back. And going back a little bit, this is Cheap Trick with their first album. This is the whole of my Cheap Trick collection, going up into Dream Police, and I kind of stopped there. But really excited to get this. $8 I paid for in a store in Phoenix. And the vinyl is really clean. The cover's worn, but it's, it's an album from the 70s, so you get what you get. Great stuff. Excited to hear this. Cheap Trick, first album. Ooh, still no rattlesnakes. Nice. Next up is Jaguar with Power Games. This is a new wave of British heavy metal band. I like to collect these early releases from these bands when I could find them. And I was really shocked to find this, because you don't find it, let alone in this amazing amount of shape. This was released by Roadrunner, and there's the back cover with the blokes, as they call them. Great to have, fantastic. And I didn't pay a ton for it, so pretty good find. And lastly, this is Bitch with Be My Slave. This is the first full-length album from Bitch, or Betsy Bitch, take your pick. This follows the EP release of Damnation Alley, Metal Blade Records, back when Metal Blade didn't even have a logo. This is back in 1983, so pretty great stuff. Happy to get this. This is before Betsy kind of goes a little more commercial, so it's more metal. It's very Metal Blade sounding, if you know that era, the 83, 84 era. Definitely. Did I just hear a duck? Weird. Why are there ducks in the desert? Nah, that's something else. Oh my God, it's too bright out here. Had to put them on. Anyways, if you like some of what you saw, definitely let me know in the comments. What were your favorite albums? What were your not so favorite albums? Definitely let me know in the comments. Also remember to like, subscribe, and share. It's a great way to support the network and let everyone know that you like what I do, and that's fantastic. So definitely do that for me. Thanks. Anywho, that's all for now. Take care and ever forward.